Hey everyone, what is up? Halloween Horror Nights is here. There's no more waiting. The event's been going on for about a week. We were here on opening night, but we got rained out. It was crazy. Take a look. It's a good start to the night. This guy's just chilling. He knows what's going on. There's literal rapids, like we're wading through to get to Wicked Grove. Guys, this is what I suffer for you. You're chilling in your bed, watching it in the peacefulness of your own house, and we're in like a hurricane. Look at this. But anyways, instead of pushing through making a video that was not as fun as it could have been, I figured I'd come back the following week, check out the event on a normal day, and have the best time possible here with you guys. So we're gonna check it out 1 week later. Usually the first week they're still figuring things out, it felt like that was the case. But the second week is usually the week where they find their stride and it becomes a fantastic event. So let's go in, have a good time, see what's going on. The event's gonna start in about 30 minutes, but for you, it's starting right now. Let's go. We came in on the side entrance because, wow, that's a crowd. We can already hear the sound of chainsaws going. It's gonna be a good night, guys. I can't wait. But of course, in traditional HHN fashion, we want to head to the back of the park first, try to catch some of the houses when they're a short wait time, and then we'll circle back to the longer ones up front. So let's head back there real quick. And everyone is off to the races. Haunting of Hill House and Beetlejuice. We got 5 minutes and 10 minutes. Normally we'd go straight to the back, but since we beat a lot of the crowds, let's go ahead and stop here first. Do both these houses. Let's talk about those houses real quick. I did Beetlejuice and Haunting of Hill House. Those are the two houses that are located in the Kids Zone area of the park. So if you've seen my previous Halloween Horror Nights tours, reviews of the sorts, you know that I really like to start with the pros before I move on to the cons. Let's start with Beetlejuice. I'll give you my short thoughts on that and my ranking. It's a really beautiful, scenic house. If you're a fan of the movie, it is a beautiful recreation and retelling of that story. It's kind of like Ghostbusters in the way that house was in 2019. So if you're familiar with that house, very scenic, very beautiful, very true to the story. However, I will say that that house was lacking scare actors quite a bit. It felt like I was walking through and it was just a walk-through attraction of Beetlejuice. It didn't feel like a Halloween Horror Nights scare house, you know? Well, yeah, there just weren't very many scares. There's maybe one or two actors in there that had scary roles. The rest were kind of just portraying characters, and there's quite a bit of that house that didn't have any actors in it at all. So I'll have to say overall I was very disappointed in that house, but I will say that the best part of that house is the opening room. You walk in and Beetlejuice is standing there, and it's a live audio, you know, the dude has a mic and he's talking to you and he's heckling the crowd and just being his silly Beetlejuice self. I love it. That was the best part of the house. Overall, I enjoyed the house, but it was definitely not a Halloween Horror Nights scary house, you know? So if you're new to the event and if you're looking for a good house to start on that isn't that scary but gets you into the spooky vibes, Beetlejuice 100% is that house for you. I'll say it's lower on my list though in terms of my favorites. Beautiful house though. Going on to Haunting of Hill House though, I'll have to say it's the exact opposite of Beetlejuice in terms of the scariness. Still, it's a beautiful house. I think it's probably the most beautiful house at the event this year. Stunning, beautiful sets, costumes are amazing, but wow, those scares are very creative. And there's a few in there that even got me. And if you know me, that's saying something. Yeah, no, I thought that was a very creative house. Definitely at the top of my list right now. But of course, I'll update you on my list as we go through the event tonight. But yeah, that's definitely an amazing house. Very creative scares, beautiful set design, beautiful costumes. The actors are killing it in that house. I've never had a bad run in that one so far. So good. Let's move on. Let's keep heading towards the back of the park. Hopefully catch some of the lower wait times back there, and then we'll head to the front. So strange, every year they have a roaming chainsaw horde here, and they don't this year. I don't know why they're doing that, but it's just, it feels so weird walking through Springfield during HHN. No chainsaw horde. I feel like my legs should be almost getting chopped off right now, right? You never know what you have until it's gone, and I miss the roaming chainsaw hordes. Come on guys, where are they this year? I hope they're back next year though. All right, Puppet Theater is a 20-minute wait. Let's go, let's do it.
Come on, big fan, let's go. Walk it, you and I. We're going this together.
Now we're in line for Wicked Growth. I'm gonna check that one out, and as soon as we're out of the line, I'll give you my review on both houses. This is also a 25-minute wait, so not too bad. Let's get going. One of the cool things about HHN is you get to see a lot of like the behind-the-scenes stuff. I don't know why they don't cover it up, but like here's a ride vehicle for Men in Black that they're currently working on. You can see a bunch of the ride platforms right there. Alright, so let's talk about Puppet Theater and Wicked Growth just a little bit. Of course, those two houses are located back by Men in Black, and I'll say they're actually really good. They're in two of the tents, and the tents usually struggle a little bit because of their size constraints. You know, they are just tents after all. But I think that they're very strong this year. I really do like them. Overall, I would say I like Wicked Growth more than Puppet Theater. I think Wicked Growth has a lot of really beautiful decorations, and one of the amazing things I have to say about that house is I walked through during a cast change, and I didn't miss almost any of the scares. I feel like I got everything that I could have or should have gotten, I saw, which was amazing because normally cast changes you walk through and you miss everything. But I was right in the middle of cast change and I saw everything. So Wicked Growth team, you guys are killing it. Puppet Theater was also very, very well done. Beautiful set. Comparing the two, I think Wicked Growth was a little bit more beautiful. It had a little bit more creativity in the set and a little bit more creativity in the scares. But overall, I really enjoyed Puppet Theater because it was gory, you know? It was like overly grotesque, and you walk through and there's a little bit of you that feels like gut-wrenched because you're like, this is disgusting. I don't want to be here. Like, get me out. This is gross. And I love that. And I feel like that's something that HHN has kind of lacked in the past few years at least. But to see that it's back here in that house, I love it. It's not overly scary, but it is very overly grotesque, you know, very gory, lots of guts, people holding severed human heads right in front of your face. I love it. It's very good. So I would say right now, my ranking of the houses that we've done tonight would be Hill House number 1, Wicked Growth number 2, then Puppet Theater, and then coming in last as of right now, unfortunately, would have to be Beetlejuice. Love Beetlejuice, it's a good house, but I don't know. I think it's just a little bit out of place the way it's designed this year. Welcome to Scary is only 25, so we're doing it. Right now they've got Nightmare Fuel going on in the Fear Factor Live Stadium. Good show, we might check it out later. All right, again, let's talk about Welcome to Scary, Ohio. See, this one was originally, when I was forming my hype list, originally Welcome to Scary was towards the top of that list. I was very excited for it because I thought it would be a great callback house. But going through the house, I have to say, again, starting with positives, pros, I think it's a beautifully designed house. There are some really clever scares in that house. But that's pretty much the extent of what I have to say about that house. I think overall, it's a little incoherent, and if you're not a diehard HHN fan, like really into the lore, and you've been for 10 plus years of this event, I feel like you're going to walk through the house being like, I have no clue what's happening. And in fact, I've been through twice now, and every time I go through that house at the end, everyone that's walking out of the house is like, what just happened? What did I experience? I don't know what's going on. The people that I was with didn't even know what Cary, Ohio was. They didn't understand the backstory of the house. And I feel like if you're not a huge HHN fan, that house is going to kind of go right over your head, and you're not really going to get a whole lot. Even if you are an HHN fan like I am, and I understand the whole backstory, and I love the properties, even I walking through was like, okay, I think this is Hive. You know, the only one that was like very clear was Leave It to Cleaver. That one was like, okay, we're in that house, obviously. But all the other ones were like, you had to kind of think and be like, okay, I think this is what it is. It wasn't very clear, you know? Like, I wish that there was something being like, welcome to whatever, and say the property. That way it was a little bit more clear. I feel like it was very incoherent, discombobulated, and just kind of really hard to understand. And that's coming from someone who is a diehard HHN fan. So I love the properties. I love the design of the house. I think it beautiful sets, very clever scares, but just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Unfortunately, that one is actually at the bottom of my list right now. We've done 5 of the 10 houses, so we're halfway through the event. Yeah, so right now it is Hill House, Wicked Growth, Puppet Theater, Beetlejuice, and Welcome to Scary. We're walking back by the front of the park again because we're going to check out Case Files Unearthed. It's another original house this year, taking off the mask. And funny story, this house is actually based on a little window display that they have just in the New York section of the park for Boris Schuster private investigations. So it's very cool that they're taking like these small little pieces of the park and elaborating on them, turning them into full stories and using them in their house. It's really unique. It's a great idea. I love it. I'm here for it. I'm actually really excited about this one. This one was up on the almost like the top of my most anticipated list, just because I think that this is going to be a passion project for them. So without further ado, let's go check it out. Here it is, Case Files Unearthed. Let's do it, 35. All right, so just got out of Case Files Unearthed. What are my thoughts, what I think? I actually really liked it. It's different. It's not what I expected, but I think that's why I liked it so much. It's a beautiful house, as always. The scenic work is amazing. Yeah, I think it might be one of my favorite houses that has been in the Shrek building in quite some time. Again, it's very unique, very different, not what you expect. It's very paranormal, very supernatural. I don't know if they're aliens or if they're like demons or ghosts or like, I don't know what they are, but there's a lot of weird stuff happening in that house, and I actually really like it. It's a house that for me, I think has a lot of repeat visits in it, because I feel like the more you go through it, the more you'll understand it, the more you'll pick up, and the more small details you'll notice to kind of tie it all together. So I'm really excited to go through that one again. Now that we're in the back half of the houses, like we've completed 6 of them now, placement's starting to get a little hard because Horror Nights never really puts out a bad house. So as of right now, this is just like off the cuff. My ranking. Sorry, I'm looking at my phones for notes. I think number 1, Hill House, still up there. Wicked Growth, number 2. Then I think Case File slides into the number 3 for right now. The next one, Puppet Theater, then Beetlejuice, and Welcome to Scary, bringing in the tail there. Still, I don't think there's a bad house this year so far. Let's keep going though. The thing that I love about that house is the fact that there's so many small little Easter eggs for the park, like Universal Studios Florida inside that house. I love picking up all those small references. Also, one of the things that I did notice is that they did exactly what I said that they should have done for Scary Ohio, is they basically have a poster saying this is basically what this next story or this next room is about. So it kind of sets up what you're about to see, and it makes sense a little bit more. So even though you're going through all his different case files, each scene makes a little bit more sense because they say, hey, you know, like, this is what you're going to see in this next room. So I really like that. And the more I think about it, the more it goes up on my list. So I think I'm actually amending the list. I'm putting it at number 2, guys. That's how much I like Case Files Unearthed. Hey, let's check out the Marathon of Mayhem Carnage Factory. This show is kind of like a sequel to the show that they had in 2019. It's just the Lagoon show, so nothing too crazy or special about it. I'm assuming it's going to be very, very similar to the one that they had in 2019. But yeah, it's yet again, you know, another show that they can add to the list of shows for HHN. I think it's a good addition to the event, so let's check it out, shall we?
Minutes, where you will venture into a realm of horrifying visions conjured up by none other than the sick and twisted fears residing in your own mind. Be aware that tonight's performance features...
Please be aware that tonight's performance features strobing lights, loud noises, and gruesome images that some may find a bit frightening. The call to Carnage will begin in just a few minutes. Welcome. Tonight, the things that torture you in the deepest corners of your mind will be painfully explored and extracted for the entertainment and delight of everyone around you. It all begins very soon. Now I lay me down to sleep, where the nightmares are real, as the clock ticks I wander off, and the terror you will feel. As the clock begins to die, all look to sleep, for this is a dark and lonely place.
actually really like that show. It's, you know, nothing too special or crazy or unique, I suppose. It's kind of exactly what all their other Lagoon shows have been. Very entertaining, though. I just like the dark twist to it. You're so used to seeing it as the cinematic celebration or whatever the daytime show is. So it's cool to see it in Halloween Horror Nights form. It's also a good little break up of the day, you know, like a change of pace. Yeah, I would definitely say I do recommend seeing it, but I would say if you're only here for one night, it's probably something I would skip. But if you have time to kill, it's definitely worth watching. I liked it, thumbs up. However, now it's time to check out some of the houses in the front of the park. We got Bride of Frankenstein, we got Tooth Fairy, and we've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So let's go up there, check out those houses.
And with that, we have completed all 10 houses tonight. It's been a good night, but let's talk about Bride of Frankenstein and the Tooth Fairy's Revenge, because those are the two houses that were open for extended periods last year during the HHN Light. And my big question was, I mean, is it the same exact house as last year? Did they do anything to change it? And the answer is simply, yeah, it's the same house. They're both very great houses. You can check out the link up here to watch our review of those houses from last year. The only thing I have different to say about those houses is that, well, because they're not really doing a whole lot of precautions, safety precautions, other than some plexiglass here and there, they've filled out the houses with scare actors. Last year, there were a bunch of holes because they didn't have the house up to capacity for the scare actors. This year, though, the capacity is full, so we're getting all the scares, and it's great. We're finally seeing how those houses, for the most part, were intended to be viewed, and they're great. I love them. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the movie. I've given it several shots, and every time I've just it's fallen flat for me for some reason. The house, I'll say I enjoy it more than I enjoy the movie. So if you like the movie, you'll probably love the house. But I don't know, I'm still not a huge fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's been here in the past, but yeah, this year, I don't know, it's been done before, and chainsaws inside of houses, you guys know how I feel about that. It loses its impact because, you know, you don't have real chainsaws because gas fumes and stuff inside, literally, you would die, literally. So all of the sound effects are just that, they're sound effects. Every time you hear a chainsaw go off, you can hear it coming from a speaker, not from the chainsaw itself, so kind of ruins the illusion a little bit. I don't know, just not a huge fan. Last time it was here though, I believe it was the remake, but it was also in the tents in the back. So it's nice that it got a soundstage. The budget of it definitely went up a little bit. I will say that. The budget of it went up a little bit. Still not a huge fan of it though.
Here's the sign that Case Files on Earth is based off of. Boris Schuster, private investigator. Of course, one of the rooms inside the house takes place in the Kitty Cat Club, which is featured right across the street from Boris Schuster's private investigations. So yeah, very neat. And of course, I saved one of the best for last, HHN icons. To me, it's the icon of the event, right? It is the house to do. They're not necessarily marketing it as that, but it's the big celebration house, you know? So, of course, it got put in one of the sound stages. I think this house has such a high budget, and walking into the house, like, the first thing that really stands out off the bat is just the grandiose scale of the house. You walk in and it's this massive, like, entryway. It says icons up at the top. It's beautiful, and I mean, come on. I think because it is the Icon's house, all of the scare actors are just going for it in that house. Guys who are killing it, crushing the game. I just love how unique it is, and also oddly, like, nostalgic too, because that house specifically, each room is like a different scene from the old Halloween Horror Nights commercials they used to play. So growing up, I remember seeing these commercials, my parents being like, turn the TV off, he's not allowed to see it, you know? And now those iconic scenes are being put into a house and being actually acted out live in person. And I think that's so cool. I love that. There's a uniqueness to the HHN Icons house. It's not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. There's definitely some deep cuts inside that house that if you're not a HHN fan, it'll probably go over your head. But unlike Welcome to Scary, I believe that this house, even if you don't get the references, you'll walk out being like, that was a good house. Because it is beautiful, the scare actors are going for it, and there's a lot of really unique scares in that house too. Yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it, like a lot.
All right, everyone, that's gonna be it. But before we go, I wanna give you my final rundown, all 10 ranked of the houses for HHN this year. All right, guys, it's gonna be a quick one. You ready? First off, we've got Hill House, then we got Case Files, and then third, the big top 3, that's where I'm placing HHN Icons. Right after that, I got Bride of Frankenstein, Wicked Growth, Puppet Theater, Tooth Fairy, Beetlejuice, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then Welcome to Scary. It kills me that I have to put any of them in the bottom 5 or even last place, you know, because just every single house is a hitter this year. You know, even the weakest one, Welcome to Scary, is such a great house. Just aesthetically, there's some good scares in there. I think even at the bottom of the list, if you go into that house, you'll walk out being, you might be a little confused, like I said in my review, but you'll still be pleased, I think. This is a solid, strong year, and I'm glad to say that it has improved a lot over the first week of the event. Some of the vibes were off in the first week, I'll say that, but now that we're headed into the second week, it's going strong, and I am here for it. But anyways, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because we got a lot more HHN content coming. I'm talking a lot. Coming up soon, we got a bunch of really cool cinematics of each and every scare zone that we'll be dropping. So subscribe for all that and so much more. If you like the video, hit that like button because it really helps other people just like you find the channels that you enjoy and the content that you enjoy. So help share the parks with everyone. Hit that like button. And also hit that bell to be notified when we post new videos. But anyways, guys, my name's John. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. But remember, the adventure lives on.